Hi, Sean and Robert. Thank you so much for joining our podcast here at Subscribed. And yeah, I'm super pumped having you here. I don't want to tell too much and give the word to both of you. Please introduce yourself. Who are you and what brings you here today?
Thanks for having us. My name is Sean. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Angelflow. And this is Rob, my co-founder and head of sales and business development. Angelflow is a platform to democratize early stage investing into startups. We are putting together a platform to help angel investors put together syndicates so that they can make more investments with smaller check sizes into early stage startups. So I guess the best part about it is that it helps startup investors make take less risk when they make investments, because instead of putting a large check into one startup and hoping that it becomes a success, they join in with a group of friends who all have great expertise in different parts of the startup ecosystem and put in smaller checks together so that they end up playing the same portfolio game that big VCs do when they make investments. Because as a lot of us know in early stage startups, when one startup does well, it does really, really well. And the portfolio game means that you increase your likelihood of doing that and you risk all of your other investments and the amount of money that you're investing.
Thank you. Wow, that sounds cool. And how did you meet each other, Robert?
Oh, we met each other through a networking group. Then we had a chance to meet in person, to share some information, provide introductions, basically trying to connect to different people in the ecosystem. Had a
Sweet.
conversation and discussions together.
I was looking for a lawyer, and Bob said, "Hey, I know one that is a partner in the company I'm currently working at." And he said, "Hey, we're going to this startup event. Let's meet in real life," because it was just the end of COVID. First time going out and meeting people in real life. And then we connected and realized that we had a lot of interest in this area.
After COVID enabled a lot of people to do things, including myself. I agree. And so both of you, is it your first company creating? And I'm also curious, it's for everyone different. When you were growing up, where I want to create a company, this is what I want to do, or did it happen or evolved later? How was it for you to become a founder?
I'll let Rob answer first.
Well, actually, I grew up in Canada in a small town, and we had a family restaurant. So I've always been around the idea of entrepreneurship and doing things, working hard, and not getting paid a lot for it, that kind of stuff. So really like typical startup from that standpoint. Then my professional trajectory was focused more on financial technology, working at large firms. I've always had this deep in my deep my soul to like try something entrepreneurial. This opportunity came up because John is a technical co-founder, which is very hard to find these days. We have the same mindset and we identify the same problem, and it's like, hey, let's do this now, try something different. So I'm an old startup founder, but it's been quite exciting so far.
Likelihood of success is much higher with all the founders, so don't underestimate it. That's perfect.
Myself, I've been in startups for quite some time. I started off as a scientist and then became a data scientist because I did bioinformatics. Started off as a cancer researcher and then went into sales and business development for a biotech firm when I decided about doing my PhD. I always had an interest in knack of entrepreneurship and creating my own business. I guess growing up in Hong Kong where everyone seems to be an entrepreneur is kind of the way we did it. I used to always talk about interesting business endeavors or starting different businesses, doing trading with my friends in high school growing up. But when I went into which was actually based in Sydney, first stage was a late stage co-founder, or kind of like a person who was the technical CTO in the startup that went through one of the accelerator programs. And I guess I caught a little bit of the bug of like, hey, this is what you can do. You can actually create a business enterprise, solve real problems and things like that. Last business that I went through was a software and hardware solution for time management and productivity called Timesheet, which met its demise thanks to not having enough capital, not raising enough capital, and weather the storm of COVID, where we had lots of supply chain issues. And I realized that I guess I'm a very hands-on founder, being a technical co-founder and stuff like that. So it meant that I was maybe not so good at doing the fundraise part of things, or fundraise was always a hard thing to do, especially trying to find early stage investors. Then I realized, hang on a second, overseas, US, there have been platforms like AngelList, which have managed to put together angel syndicates, and it was a really, really one. I mean, wrote down, how many deals did I do?
Over $1,500 deals in the past 12 months.
Yeah, deals, but when I was looking in Hong Kong and looking in Asia, I realized there aren't really any platforms that do that around here. And just kind of being part of the startup ecosystem here, I suddenly realized that there's a lot of startups in Asia Pacific, super high growth companies that have really good valuations and are all trying to raise capital. And I said, hey, how come this doesn't exist? And I guess like entrepreneurs go, if it doesn't exist, instead of complaining about it, why not make it? And that's how Angelflow came up in my head. And then I met some great people and decided to take the next step and actually found a company.
That's awesome. I love it. I mean, kind of this, I forgot where I read it, but thesis of investment funds where they start to invest in localized business models like the of Africa, or I'm making this up, or Airbnb of South America, and these type of things. And it sounds like you found an opportunity like that for APAC, which could become incredible that in the right now already, and in the forthcoming years.
Yeah, I mean, like,
That's exciting.
Asia, and it's like, the fact of kind of being able to make these sorts of investments mean that there are a lot of good companies that are not managing to meet the right people and get the right people. So that's what we're doing at Angelflow. We're putting together not only a platform to allow angel investors to come together and form syndicates, do all of the legal legwork in the background to make sure all the legals are done, all the compliance things are done to allow people to put together a investment and let the person who's leading it have the option to take a carry, take a subscription fee, and of course look after the fund over the lifetime until it gets a significant exit and pays back the investors. But on the other side of things, we're also building a LinkedIn for startups and investors, because we also realize that there isn't really any good to show your profile as an angel investor, to show that these are the investments that I made, these are the sorts of things that I invest in, and be able to kind of use your ID towards, I'm an investor and a real investor, not just somebody who invests in Bitcoin or on stock markets and things like that, but shows that you're a real startup investor. But on the other side, also put up profiles to allow you to not only showcase your business and allow you to put up your pitch, a little bit of information about yourself, but also to have a place to give potential investors or current investors monthly updates so that you can say, hey, go to our profile page on Angelflow, and there you can follow us. So it means when you hear when we start writing updates about the progress of our company, you're the first ones to hear about it. And from my experience in raising capital in startups before, I found lots of people, especially the investors that you meet, are very unlikely to say no the first time. But when they see a little bit of progress, and then they see a little bit of news and updates and you kicking some goals, then it's more likely that you'll suddenly be a hot startup and they'll want to invest in you. And one of the best things to do is have a unified platform to be able to do that, and of course to remind you that you want to do that.
So you're building two products right now, or are you building one product with a differentiated angle? Just to clarify, which of the two is it?
Well, it's two products, but one is very required. It has a high requirement on the other, because on one side, you kind of need to be able to find your startups, put them together, and when you put together your angel syndicates, because it is a lot of private club sort of investments. You don't want to just let anybody invest with you because you want to have a little bit of background on them, sorts of things that they do. So the best place to go to is have a look at their profile on Angelflow, and it allows you to find out who's wanting to join your club and starts the conversation more on a warm note rather than a cold note.
Yeah, that makes sense. What would you tell yourself? How long have you been working on this project now? I've like 9 months or so on my startup, 3 months on the startup part currently is.
Maybe now, maybe a little bit less. It's, I think with most startups, there's kind of like points.
Multiple, yeah. You kind of, I guess where I want to lead with this is, what do you tell young Sean, like a yak, what would you tell you would have known a year ago?
That's a really good question. And, yes, I'll ask Rob first, because
it can also be prepare for the pain. You don't know, like it can be something very generic. I
guess like on my, don't have the expectation that, I'm still the same place and then you can raise capital for your investors on a night you aren't a good team. It's changed. So you have to build product and show traction first.
Yeah, I think the idea is to don't be fearful, do things fast, feel for the stuff. I think that when we're deep into it, we want to overanalyze a little bit because we are dealing with the legal side of things. We want to create trust. Setting up SPVs, we want to use proper structures and all that stuff. We can look at different platforms that are comparable to what we're trying to do at Angelflow. There are sectors that are questionable. So we have to slow down sometimes to say, are we doing the right things? Is it building trust? Is it a secure full structure that is beneficial to the investors? And because of that,
100%. And SPVs are this pool structure, right? You pool. Okay. So interesting because one of our advisors, an investor, recently spoke with me about it. It's like important to pool. I think I shouldn't speak about it. Really that. But anyhow, he said it's very important. And he said the most expensive mistake you can make is saving on the lawyer. And kind of happened to me like different because I really want to do everything fast and I never slow down, but sometimes I have to. And then I had to change something and it was incredibly difficult because I couldn't do the investors quickly, but it was an issue because all the investors are my friends. It just, one of them was like very big and didn't have time. And I knew that, but I had to follow up for many, many weeks to get him to sign something which was important for restructuring our company. So I see this problem, and I think it's good that you say you need to slow down because if you were not doing that, it could be very bad later for using a platform. So that's great news, I guess, for definitely for everyone. Yeah.
And more kind of like internal ethos, especially considering that you said like it's lots of people who invested in you doing different things and then having to go through that, is you really shouldn't have to worry or think about the structure, both on the side of the investors and startup. And you want to make sure that whatever you're doing to make sure the investments go in are secure and safe so that you can focus on building the business and the investors can focus on finding good deals and finding other investors to join them in the journey.
Sweet. Nice. And it'd be hard, like vision and slowing down. Like, how do you manage that? I mean, it's like hard to manage to just keep going. But I think it's even tougher if you don't have unlimited resources. So how do you manage that in the business, like to decisions? How do you think about it? What would your advice be for others?
Try and get as many things as you can for free is probably the first thing that you can do. Like different ways through accelerator programs, partnership programs, and things like that to be able to get either products or services for free. The other one is to always assume that the sticker price is the price that you need to pay. Sometimes you need to negotiate over the long term, especially when it comes to things like, more office space and stuff like that. I mean, lots of people have moved to fully remote, but there's still a lot of serendipity about working in an office. And I guess in Hong Kong, it's very much kind of like the sorts of places that people live in here are typically further away or small apartments, so you don't get a private office to yourself in a big house. So it's nice to have an office, and it's always nice to be around your co-founders because you got lots of work done. That's just me.
Yeah, 100%. And how do you stay healthy in this? Do you work all the time, don't sleep? Like, how do you take care of yourself? Do you think about that at all?
Wow. Well, I'm switching off at night in my dirty old brain because it's really noisy. But on the other side of things, I try to keep healthy on eating good food, from the office, seeing that it's nice and good here. I don't get to drive because it's Hong Kong, so 4+ walking is a nice good exercise. But I want to kind of join this one that he does.
yeah, so, I mean, we're in Canada, so I play ice hockey. Even in Hong Kong, warm weather, I still found a group of people that play ice hockey. And what's actually kind of fun about being in Asia and playing any sport is I can go around the region and play tournaments like in Thailand. So playing a sport has always been good. Where scheduled events, scheduled activities, so I'm also at least physically to some physical exercise.
Oh, nice. So I'm probably with one of the best ice hockey players in your region.
Team, actually.
That was a few years
yeah,
ago.
that's amazing. And how did you launch your product actually and acquire your first customers? Like, it doesn't matter paid or how do you do that? Because it sounds like you tried a few different things. And yeah, how did you get your first customers?
I would say it was mainly networking, which is his side of things. He's been an absolute down when it comes to talking to people and creating networks and creating awareness of our company.
Yeah, I think it's more about creating awareness and show people where we're going to flow and what it can provide for investors and startups. In terms of actually launching a platform, I mean, we have that investor portal, startups, and investors create a profile, but we actually haven't built the solution for the actual indie syndicates yet. And that's because we want to make sure we're doing things right. That's why we're going through a process of creating our own syndicate. So it'll be the first syndicate on our platform called the Circle. And once we go through that, they're basically uploading back to you, going through the process, and then you model for future syndicates. Say, hey, if Sean and Rob can do a syndicate, can do a syndicate.
Ah, sweet. Is this the syndicate that is shared already? Like, is this all live?
Yeah, so we're getting memberships to the syndicate now. So if you want to learn more about the syndicate, you can go to our webpage. We've got a couple of really interesting deals coming up. But the idea is that when you sign up to the syndicate, it means that you don't need to put any money down, no commitments. You just need to let us send you email about our deal flow. And if you find any of the interesting investments that we're making as a syndicate coming up, then you can actually say, hey, I want to be a part of this one. And then put a check size as little as $5,000, it seems to me, is the minimum check size we're looking at. And join us on journey investing in that startup.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I would like to see that. Even though I'm like very poor, always good to see other startups and potentially funny somewhere. That's awesome. If I can be accepted. Yeah, so it's like it's really the product you build is really about networking, getting to know people first, building it slow, and then scaling later at high velocity. I didn't know any of the nuances till our chat now, so that's very enlightening to me. But now I do. So, you said you're getting a lot of things for free, and obviously at Subscribed, you're also about subscriptions, as the name implies. So what are your favorite subscription tools personally, but also as a business, Rob and Sean, that you use to communicate you use in your business and personal life, if there are any?
You know, I say I want to get everything for free. It's like I'm not paying for something that adds value to you or adds extra productivity to your day-to-day life. And with that one, I think, my favorite subscription services that we pay for are probably Google Apps because, well, everybody needs an email service, but you'd be surprised how much extra stuff comes with it. So you get your whole Google Docs side of things. So we've completely gotten rid of any other kind of word processor and tools and things like that. We use the Meet functionality for all of our, is it Meet or Hangouts? I can never remember anymore. But for all of our video conferences, and we even use their version of the communication tool for internal messaging.
Oh, really?
We use Spaces a lot because the other alternative, Slack, we found same as our whole Google Apps suite and only did the one thing. So we're like, let's try and save money here. And we'll use the built-in tool for that one. Personally, on the engineering side, I've got to say I'm running GitHub Copilot, so process doing the engineering side of things. And it's kind of almost magic how it fills in and finishes off what I'm trying to say or trying to think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, so I talk about personally at home and what we use. Like I use C Plus at home as an example because I'm a kid and we watch a lot of data stuff at Angelflow. What I like the most is actually our CRM solution. We use Drive at this point. But for me, any CRM system would probably do, whether it's Salesforce or whatnot. But the key thing is to be able to capture information, not have it different platforms or spread out just in one place. Because if I'm going up there, having a lot of conversations from a business development standpoint, partnership standpoint, you got to remember who you've met, the conversations you've had, so you can continue with a productive dialogue afterwards. So capturing information is key. Using it to your advantage.
Yeah, so that's you're not doing very well, like we were with the CRM. So we need to do better in that. But we tried to implement HubSpot, but we just failed with the onboarding. It was so complex, so we stopped it. We don't have to do it, so we're using spreadsheets. We think to your point, Sean, which was Google. Google is really amazing. And we found the route as well on using Spaces, but we couldn't use it anymore. There was a point where we were it's so painful. So using the Slack free version, and everyone is so much more happier. But we used Spaces for 5 months till I think we lost our mind because what is it? I think the adding new people or something is a bit cumbersome. I forgot what it was, but it was something where I think we lost our mind. I think the search function or something. We're okay, fuck it. Now we're gonna use the free version of Slack. Is there anything that you can relate to from your career? Where you wanted to invest or you wanted to be part of something and you couldn't?
Well, I wouldn't say this from a professional, as an individual. You're also investing in private markets, or you're getting access to certain things that you don't have access to. There's a sense of FOMO. So there's a bit of fear of missing out. So I remember one time there was an opportunity where I had a little hedge fund, not regulated whatsoever, and I really wanted to get in it because I'm missing out. So I had put some money into this fund, but there was no regulatory thing about it. Basically, just send them money, and he wrote me back like a promissory note. That was it. After a while, some things went wrong apparently on his side, so and then he stopped answering my emails, and then it was gone. So my money was gone. It just vanished. So for me, I think you have to have a proper structure in place. So when you're investing in something, or at least having a platform like Angelflow where you can go back to see your investment and have a touch point somewhere is important, rather than sending it to somebody and not seeing it again. But there is a fear of missing out because, I want that opportunity to invest in an early stage startup at the ground level and really make some money.
I mean, Robert keeps on somebody who was an early stage investor in Uber. I know we kind of said it a couple of times, but it was a person who I think was at iHostel, isn't it?
He's the founder of Uber, got an opportunity to invest in the early stage. That's it, $500. That's true. Vacation, that's a price of my handbag. But 14 or at $500 today is for $24 million. So that's what when we want to encourage small investors to look at us, because there is opportunity, and that's why we want to keep the ticket sizes small, where small angel investor can put $500 in, follow a professional angel, someone that's invested in startup before, that's a long way.
Yeah. You think it will democratize investments and some of the power of the bigger funds to the people?
It's not just first, right? Because you think about in Hong Kong, there's a lot of people. Asia, there's a lot of people high net worth, lots of money. It's the wealthy and get the whole. You could be wealthy but not connected. You don't get any asset. Wealthy and connected, and you want these people to invest along with these people to get access to their deals. So that's democratizing for small investors.
Yeah, and is it the same? Strongly up, please.
I was just gonna say, but the thing I want to say is the fact we're not really taking away from the bigger tech. We're filling in the gap in between. I call it the 3Fs, the friends, family, and fools round of investment. Between there and when you're getting your first large investment from a VC, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it all requires capital. And that's the part which is almost like the chasm of death for most startups. And that's what we're trying to democratize and fill in. So it means for myself, if a platform like ours existed and maybe if I raised more capital, the other company might still be running because, it would be easier to find investors to put together deals. So it means on one side of things for the investors, hey, you're putting $5,000 into all these different companies. You might exit with a state value as Michael Wolf, from who made fun out of Uber. But on the other side of things, is it means it makes more money available to the startups and gives them more opportunity to try to succeed. So we're really at gap, and I guess it comes from the background of several of the other co-founders and people who work in this company. We've all either been angel investors or worked in or founded startups, and we actually know what it's like to be in the deep end there. So we're kind of creating tools that would fix the problems that we faced.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I didn't formulate my question before very well. I mean, a lot of decisions around investments are made by one or few bigger VCs or investors, and then other ones come in. So the question I had, for example, I didn't understand is when are unique debates? Because one of the problems is if a VC gets big, there's more processes. So I think it just decreases the likelihood on finding the next X. There are a few exceptions like Sequoia. I think it's the Sequoia had around for 30 years and somehow they did that. But what with my knowledge, have no idea at all. It seems like there's one blockbuster company and then it overshadows the funds for the future. How to make decisions that this is the path to go. So if there's no one that if no one steps out of the normal way, how is the next unicorn ever be found? Because who knows if the processes of the bigger funds are actually that much better? I guess that's my question on scouting the next unicorns. What is that? I can't really formulate it, but the TLDR is bigger. I think bigger funds have lower returns on average, I think. And then what smaller funds do is they would spread their investments directly hedge like the bigger funds. So everyone is kind of averaging, and that creates kind of can create mediocre returns as well. Or am I wrong there? Tell me what you
No,
think.
I think you're 100% right. Like we could go down this one for hours because there's lots of information that we have internally, lots of stuff that we've learned. But the main thing that I guess gives you the opportunity to succeed really is by playing the portfolio game, not just making large investments into single companies and hoping for the best. Because like no matter how you think that you can analyze a company, it's kind of really there's a huge luck element to it. And you de-risk it by making more smaller investments rather than making like a few very large investments. And I guess that's really one of the problems that like lots of large have, because they have a lot of money to deploy, means that they can really only spend their time writing really large checks. So it means they have to invest in later stage companies, do a lot more due diligence. And when you start doing things like that, it means like, you're like all the starts of the hockey stick curve rather than in the very early stages when you're going to make the most possible returns. That's the part of the equation that we're trying to hit. It's like, before it's that hockey stick. So you're kind of playing the game so that you start to choose the companies. But a lot of this, and the way that we see it, is the early stages. It's all about relationships. It's all about knowing the founders, knowing that they're the right people, that they have the right heads on their shoulders to be able to figure out a way to make the company really big. And you invest in them rather than trying to find numbers and metrics. But that is also kind of the riskiest, not de-risking yourself by putting smaller checks and spreading it out and playing the portfolio game and choosing companies that you like, founders that you like, but making a number of investments rather than just one single very large one.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I would totally put down money into your fund, like a lot of guys and girls like Fox. I think there's like no questions asked. I would put money in because my philosophy is if you like people, no one knows the future, I believe you will create things, so I would write down, that's it, like full stop. Whatever I have, I would do it. So that's it, my philosophy. But I don't know about investing really. So yeah, sorry, Robert, to you.
I'll say the difference between what a syndicate is and what a VC fund is. So a VC fund is you investing in the manager. You're writing a check, you make the manager. It's called a blind pool fund, right? So once the manager gets the checks, they say they raise 25 million, 80 million, and then over the next 2 to 3 years, they deploy that capital. They make a decision in terms of what startups to invest in. So you're believing in the fund manager's decision making at that point. Versus a syndicate, where sponsor a syndicate would have already found the startup that they want to invest in already. And they're already investing their own money. They bring the 50,000 of their own money and then opening it up to their syndicate members and say, hey, I'm investing $50,000, so I want to invest along with me. So, for example, yourself, and then you would show you the deal, and then you would make a decision at that point and say, hey, I like that Robin Chung investing in. I want to tag along or invest along with them. So that's
Yeah.
You're making it on a case-by-case basis, a daily basis. So it gives you more control.
100%. Sorry, I didn't want to go in depth there, but I'm very interested and I love what you're doing because it's going to help a lot more people getting access to things they haven't had access before. And is there, for Robert, for you, is the one thing that you learned in the early days of your career that helps you now as a founder and you would like to share with others?
Well, I think in the early career, working in an organization that did everything right, I was just a cog in the wheel. So a lot of the learning was from that company. But then I went to other companies and I worked at various startups and whatnot. And I could see how things are done wrong, where things could be done better, but all goes under the culture and how strong the team is. I think that's the key thing. I think here at ABICO, for example, we have a strong team, we like to be around each other. We spend probably more time together than beside people. So you gotta make sure that the team works. That's what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I learned earlier that a lot of people say, no, that's not possible, or that's not, like, it can't be done, primarily just because, they kind of done it a different way and they don't think outside the box. But when somebody says, no, it's not possible, it's impossible, it rarely is. It's just, you have to really think a different way about how to get it done.
Yeah, 100%. And what is something you want to share, either one of you or both of you, with the audience of our channel? Is there one message you want to tell them? Maybe about your business, can also be advice, or what you want to
Well, I think as a full timer, I think for any startup, just be fearless, right? Just go away from it.
I want to add as well, you should definitely check out Angelflow and support their first vehicle they're building, because we as founders, entrepreneurs, and SMBs, we need to support people like Sean and Robert to give it a shot and disrupt and be successful. And the good part about it is maybe you make money on the way as well, or maybe you lose it. But it's much for today. I'm going to stop recording now.
Thanks for having us.